Hi, I'm here with Ross Kaufman, the director of Waterproof, and May Moujon, whose name I'm not going to say the right way, who's the producer. Hi, guys.
Hi,
Hello.
thanks for having us.
Sure. So let's just dive right into this. Ross, you're a pretty well-known documentary filmmaker. A lot of people have, at the very least, heard the title "Born into Brothels," if not have actually seen the film. Um, and this is a much, in a sense, a smaller story, more of a local story for us. How did you come to this story?
That's a good question. May, first of all, May is the person who originated the story. She's been working on it for years. And I just came in towards the end, really. May had shot, well, how much footage did you shoot, May? You
Well,
shot
we,
some footage.
we started filming in 2012. We had about 400 hours of footage on all different media. And a mutual friend brought in Ross, and Ross came on board after meeting the Ryans and brought it home for us.
And for me, it was I don't usually take films that have been worked on before. I usually start from the beginning. But first of all, May is a very convincing person. She's very persistent and tenacious. And the Ryan, what sort of sealed it for me is the Ryans and the family that we spotlight in the film. Um, as soon as I met them, and I'm getting little goosebumps. As soon as I met them, I thought, these people are incredible, and I could spend time with them, and I wanted to do their story justice and the community story justice. So yeah, it's always about the characters, just bringing me in.
Right. So May, tell us about your involvement. I mean, this is part of your community, right?
Yes, I actually live in Southampton, and I met the Ryans, and I was touched by their passion and commitment to the ocean and the family, and I too got goosebumps. I met Big John and said, "Has anyone ever told your story?" And he said, "No, we start tomorrow." And so we got on the beach and we started filming with basically, let's just go for it. And the story was there, but the community has supported the Ryans and they've been involved. The son, Johnny Jr., has been the town lifeguard chief for 40 years. He's been a lifeguard for over 40 years. He's been the chief for 20 years. So they actually brought me in because once I saw what they did with the kids in the community, I said, we got to do this. And with local television out here, we managed to start filming. And once you meet them, you're hooked. And the kids will do anything for Big John. And that's how it started. And we were fortunate enough to have the support of the town of East Hampton, the community, Hampton Lifeguard Association. And it's hard to believe it's been a 10-year journey. I just didn't give up. My children wanted me to, like, hey, Mom, I'm like, nope, we're going to finish this. We're going to get it done. And thanks to Ross and Regina Scully and Geraldine Dreyfus and Jonathan Gray and several people who know how to make documentaries, we got it done. And now it's my job and all of us by these film festivals to get it out there and to help other waterfront communities. And they're still, they're taking the certification test with COVID. So it's been amazing to become part of the lifeguard family.
And May, I'm also curious, what is your background in film or television? Have you done anything like this before?
My father of my three children, my ex-husband, was a commercial director, and I helped produce some of his first commercials. And I love film, and I'm sort of a wannabe filmmaker. And I think if I had known what it was going to take to make a film, I just went for it. I love film. My children are all involved in media. And so this was my first documentary, and I just went for it.
One of the things I really appreciated in this film was the attention to detail of the reality of what's involved in lifeguarding, the intense training, the test, little details like don't drink orange juice the morning of your test, the fact that they have to fill out tax forms. We just don't think about that. And then, you know, the fear of losing someone and this intense sense of duty they all have. What surprised both of you as you came to understand their daily lives and what this is about?
I mean, along the lines of what you just said, that, you know, it's not just, lifeguarding is not just something you do in your spare time. And these people are an integral part of the community and safety of the community. I mean, they're just like firemen or police. You know, I had no idea. And, you know, the infrastructure, everything is so important. And that was I had no clue about that. And so that was a real eye opener for me.
I grew up with LA County lifeguards, which are part of LA County Fire Department, and it's a different world. What pulled me in was the commitment of Ocean Rescue, who were all lifeguards, and I'm now a lieutenant in East Hampton Volunteer Ocean Rescue. And they volunteer their time. Like Ross said, they are the firemen of the sea. They're really never off. Even when they're on the beach, they're looking. And what is so important is these little kids are out there training, and they read the ocean. They learn about the ocean, and I'm in awe of them. Every time we have a meeting, I sit back and I can't believe their devotion, their passion, their stories, how they show up on their own time. And they're all full-time people. They all have full-time jobs. The difference here with other lifeguard communities is ours are seasonal. They're only on from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and then Ocean Rescue's on 24/7 with pagers. And because of the training, we've had, Leslie Scaglione was the last drowning we had out here by someone who went in to save their children, because of the training and because they know what to do.
Yeah, that track record is just amazing. Almost unheard of, I think, for a beach community like that. You know, I really felt in the one-on-one interview parts of the documentary, the emotion is so raw at times. And, you know, these are some seasoned veterans of lifeguarding, and these are some pretty tough people, you know, if you think about it. And yet they're really exposing some of their fears or even their regrets. And how do you get to that level of trust with the subjects that they're willing to open themselves up that in a way that maybe they just don't normally do?
To really get on, I just approach it like I would approach anyone or any conversation. I just want to be normal and real and stuff. You know, my first question when I, you know, meet you is not going to, so tell me, who are you? What do you do? And how long have you been here? Right? It's more like, how's it going? You know, and it's just being normal and having a normal rapport. And a good example is Johnny Ryan. I saw a lot of footage of Johnny in that trove of footage. And Johnny I expected this guy who's stiff and tough because no one got to know him. It was very odd. And then I was a little not intimidated, but I thought, all right, I got this guy who might be a little bit of a stiff, you know, and I met him. And the moment I met him, he was the sweetest guy. He was just awesome. Right, May? I mean, it was just like, it's in the film, you see it, like he is just one of the more, I mean, the emotion, the beauty, his commitment. He's just a guy you want to hang out with. And so
that was the genius of Ross, because because they trusted me and whoever I brought in.
I was going to say your trust too, man.
There was a trust between us that was established a long time ago. And so when I introduced them to Ross, they trusted me to let Ross in. And then Ross's genius of his documentary filmmaking was to get Johnny to open up. And Big John was actually more difficult to really, you know, open up because he repeats himself and talks and talks and talks. But Johnny trusted Ross
Mm.
and
Yeah,
knew.
exactly. But it's not, it's not like just to get them to open up and just, it's really like, it's just like anything. Like you meet someone, you just want to get to know them,
Yes.
right? And once you get to know them, so my job and the pleasure is to get to know people. I mean, a lot of times I don't even want to shoot because I just want to hang out and relax and get to know people. And that's what I love about this job. You just meet the most incredible people. And, if they are, I hate use the word characters. Characters, if they turn out to be good characters, the film can really have some life.
Mhm.
Not characters. I think you just have to bring out the beauty and the humor in people, and the depth of emotion that most of us have.
Mhm.
So to me, it's just treat them like a normal person, not like someone who's directing a film. You need to get something out of it.
Mm. Another thing that makes a lot more sense to me now after talking to both of you is there is the combination of that footage made that you had been getting for several years, the kind of verite footage, and then the more one-on-one conversations. They really complement each other well, because both in terms of the individuals we're talking about, if we're talking about John or John Jr., you get their public persona and more their private persona. But even with the town, the other people that get interviewed, and just seeing the years of footage you have of them interacting with each other, it really rounds it out, and it really does make it about the town and about these individuals at the same time in a nice way that it's a really nice marriage of two different filmmakers in a sense
Yeah,
that
I
you
mean,
guys put together.
That's great to hear, because that was
That
one
was
of
a
the
challenge.
challenges of the film. I do verite films usually as well. Like that's what I sort of do, and I don't sit down talking interviews as much, or nowadays I do, but I didn't back for a long time. And so when May came to me and my team, how can we do this? We shot all this footage, and I said, well, let's ground it in real interviews, and let's just ground it like that, which I don't usually do. But there's so much footage. I said we have to do something like that. So we shot the interviews, and then we shot, some material, enough material, people on the beach and different different activities, different things on the beach. But culling through all that material took months and months, and to get the moments like where Mary Kate takes the test, just like finding that footage and figuring out how to craft that and intercutting it with interviews. That was the real challenge. And I'm glad. Thank you for saying that, because it was really it was a heck of a lift.
Yeah. And now about the shooting on the beach. I mean, so this is something I deal with a version of this. When people ask me, what do you do? And I'll joke, I watch movies for a living. And everyone says, oh, I want to do that. I'm sure everyone would say, oh, I'd love to just do a shoot at the beach. It must be so nice and easy. It's a day at the beach, right? I'm assuming it wasn't as easy as that. Can you guys talk about the some of the challenges of shooting at the beach?
Sand.
I'll just say,
Sand. Yeah.
I'm more of a mountain person. I really don't like the beach. If I had my choice, I wouldn't go to the beach. I don't know if I ever told any of the Ryans that, but it's true. And so for me, just going to the beach is a sort of I don't know, not the thing I love. Sorry for your audience. You're right on the ocean, right? Are you on the bay?
We're close.
I like bays better than oceans.
Yeah, we're on the North Shore, so.
Perfect. Oh, I love the North Shore. That's right. I'm looking at the map. I wish we could be there. Damn it.
Me too.
Damn it, this COVID. I was just gonna say, yeah. So shooting on the beach, it's hot, it's sandy, but it's not. Listen, I shoot all over the world. I shoot in India, I shoot in Africa, I shoot in some of the most difficult places in the world, and even when you're shooting in the most beautiful places in the world, shooting is just hard. It's like it's always got challenges. So the beach wasn't as difficult as I'm making it out to be. Yeah.
No, and I think the hardest was to be able to, you see what you see with your eyes, and then the camera can capture some of it. And me, who I am, because I'm so tenacious. I'm like, shoot this. And then not thinking about the setup to shoot that. And even Mary Kate's test, I grabbed a little Sony and followed her. And true, if I had had a full crew with me, the footage would have been probably definitely more beautiful. But it was that moment of spontaneity. And that was the hardest, was to keep it spontaneous. But then by setting up the kids, and I had to smile the other day, thinking of Ross, one of the little girls in the film is now a junior lifeguard.
Which one?
Bristrian, the one with the big blue eyes. She had the goggles on her head.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
Emma, who says, you know, I'm a nipper and my grandfather and my family, she's a junior lifeguard now.
Yeah. How old is she now?
They're 9.
Okay, 9. Okay, that's not.
So,
with,
you know, having when we started filming, there was no nippers. And so the nipper edition, I think, is what brought the charm and the smiles and seeing these little kids, you know, go for it. I think if we had had more time or more expansion, the story could continue and continue, because these kids keep coming into the lifeguard program. But Ross really knew how to hone it in and grab the best of the test, and then the kids, and Johnny and Kathy Piazzatine, the second child of the Ryans, never would speak. And I think she spoke for like 2 hours.
That was it. I love Kathy. I'm hoping Kathy's listening to this. You know, I had no idea that.
I didn't either.
Kathy's the coolest, but you know, sometimes, you know, I've grown up with a lot of Irish people. I actually was very close with an Irish family as I was growing up. You know, you have to earn the trust sometimes of the Irish, and I don't know. It happened at a certain point, and Kathy was the whole family. They're wonderful. But the first time I met them, I was a little intimidated, you know. So, but Kathy is. I can't say enough about Kathy. She's really wonderful. Yeah. I just want to say what. So I had a question for you, Kent. Okay. When you live. Do you live in Stony Brook? Do you live?
It's Stony Brook. I live one town over from Stony Brook.
So I had heard the term riptide before. You know, I'd sort of known what it was, and I found out what a riptide was, you know, within the movie, and it's very, like, we really made it clear in the movie without having it be an educational video, right? In the movie. And every time I'm on that beach, I am looking for riptides now. I'm not even kidding. And it happened immediately. And I thought, maybe other people are doing the same, you know, after they see this. And does that save, you know, if I tell my kid, hey, don't go in, it looks like a riptide, is that savings? You know, I feel like it almost immediately has an effect that could actually be saving people's lives.
I absolutely
really
agree with
that.
Yeah. I try to, on Long Island, I try to get to the beach at least once a year, to the South Shore, the real beach. Not too. I usually wind up not too far from your community, May. My wife is from Hawaii, so we go back there a fair amount. So I knew basically what a riptide was, but I would not have been able to explain it well. And I made sure that my kids understood how to deal with things, but this explains it so much better. And I think it actually, I think just that part of the film right there could save thousands of lives easily.
So yeah, I feel the same way. But I feel like that was a great thing about this film when we put it out there. I thought, this is immediately saving lives.
And that was my goal in the end, about saving lives. And that's why I needed to figure out a way, how do we do this so that people understand the power of the ocean and understand what it means to a rip, because it's deceptive. Even sometimes the lifeguards are taking the test and they swim right into a rip and they feel it, and then they figure out how to get out of it. But interesting enough, even in the bay, there are rips in the bay. There's a current in the bay. There was a father up on the bay over here, got caught. Kid got pulled out. Lakes, kid was a lifeguard, was a good swimmer, drowned. You know,
Hmm.
so it's the beauty of being able to read the ocean and to
Hmm.
understand. You know, as Big John says, when in doubt, don't go,
Hmm.
and throw a flotation device
Right.
before you go. And Ross was able to tell that in a cinematic way and an intriguing way that people wanted to go, wow, okay. And I really do hope the film does save lives. That's our goal. And that's Big John's passion, is don't become the next victim.
I think any area, whether you're talking about the Hamptons or whether you're talking about Hawaii, any area that has either seasons of tourists or in some cases just year-round tourists coming to the beach, often for one of the few times in their lives for the first time, that it's always a danger. And so something like this is really important. And so speaking to that, you mentioned trying to get the film outside the community. I was wondering what has been your experience with that so far? I know that the pandemic has kind of thrown a wrench into that for a lot of filmmakers, but what has been your experience so far, and what is your long-term goal in terms of where would you like to see the film go to?
Well, our first reach out of the community was Beaufort, South Carolina.
Mm.
And they are a water community. It's a beautiful little town. And that was the first time I sat with an audience that was not my community.
Mm.
And then we did San Luis Obispo, but that was virtual streaming. The goal, I think, is to be able to find a way for online streaming. Ross knows more of the language than I do, but I've been tenacious in reaching out to teams who know how to help market it. So the goal would be to find a platform
Mm.
where people can watch it and understand it. There's a difference when you're in an audience and you have a live Q&A and you feel the impact of a big screen. Now it's drive-in movies, which we're hoping to do in East Hampton in August. We're working on that, getting permission. And then we'll see where we go. We've been selected by several film festivals, and every film festival like yours is trying to figure out how do you pull in the audience and they take away and they understand the ocean after it. So every day is a new day for us, well, for me, to find the right platform on where the film goes.
Mm. And we kind of touched on this earlier, but there's no way you did a shoot like this, both on the beach and the one-on-one interviews with some of these personalities without having some favorite stories you like to tell. So I'll just put that to you guys. What's a story, a behind-the-scenes story that you like to tell from this shoot?
Goodness.
I'll
Yeah,
give you one.
choose one now.
That Johnny Ryan sleeps in his Red Devils, which are Speedo bathing suits. And that what I learned when Ross was filming is that Johnny gets up at 5:30 in the morning, takes a shower, puts on his Red Devils, gets dressed for school, and gets back in bed with his clothes on, so that when the alarm goes off to go to school, he's dressed and ready to run out the door. I never knew this about Johnny Ryan, that he gets back in bed with his clothes on.
I love that.
That's a good question. It's funny. I haven't thought about that in regards to this film. Big John is hilarious. We wanted to interview him. We had this one the museum out there. It's a museum, right, May?
Amagansett Life Saving Station Museum.
So we sort of had this museum to work with, in one room basically to get 20 different angles for all the people we were filming, trying to film them all in the same place and make it feel different. But Big John, I think they had this what do they call it? What's the life? What do they call the big boats? The life.
They had the lifeboats from before there was an ocean rescue.
Right.
There were surf boats that would go out to do the rescues, and they're old wooden boats.
It's this precarious thing in this museum, and I just figured that was awful. Like I wouldn't even think about it. And Big John comes in. We're trying this. All right, well, we'll set up a chair here and try to. He goes, oh, and he literally gets into the boat. And he goes, this is good, And I filmed the whole thing because I love filming. I always want to roll the camera before and before the thing starts, and so we filmed that. It didn't make it into the film, but him just like sort of saying, "This is it. This is where I'm going." That was sort of a fun moment.
He seems like the definition of a larger than life person.
Yeah,
totally. And he's revered. You don't say no to Big John. The other day he was taking out the garbage from the Amagansett Beach Club that he's been managing for 20-something years. And he's larger than life. Somebody in Beaufort said, well, how tall is he? He said, well, he's 6'4". He's a big guy. And, but he's so, loves kids. He's so comfortable. And he's funny, he'll say silly things. And the one line that I took away from it, family are friends and friends are family. So come on over. You're part of the family now. Again,
Johnny Ryan Jr., Johnny Ryan. I went out there with my family. And I think this is one of the times we went out, and it was nice. I was probably in June, and my son was with me. 6 years. He was 6 years old at the time, I think, right? Maybe six or
yes,
I think he was 6 or 7. And I just walked up to Johnny. I said, "Hey," I didn't really know him that well at that point. And Johnny just like took my son, just started to show him, like, give him like lessons and sort of get him through little drills. And he was so sweet with Harry. And I just thought,
and then we got Harry.
It was a wonderful moment for me, because a lot of my films tend to be about family. Most of them, actually, oddly, I don't plan it that way. And once again, like, their family was just such a, it turned out to be this beautiful group of people, but it's this extended family, and it's them treating me like family and May like family. It was, that was sort of, for me, a behind the scenes sort of wonderful surprise.
That's great. So look, thank both of you for giving us this wonderful film, giving us the opportunity to show it, and for giving us your time right now to talk about it. I know our audience is going to love it. They're going to learn a lot from it. And I really enjoyed just getting to hang out with you guys virtually and getting to know you a little better.